will transition to Notre Dame because we start with the offense. And Sam Hartman, after 5 great years at Wake, Ryan is in, but also the new offensive coordinator, Gerard Parker. Can you tell us a little bit about Parker and what to expect from the offense?
Well, Gerard Parker has had experience as an offensive coordinator before, which is key because you need to know how to call plays. And then you've got Sam Hartman, as you mentioned, coming off a stellar career at Wake Forest, who's looking to prove in just 1 year that he is first-round talent for the NFL and that he can do it against better competition. I expect explosive plays, and, of course, you guys know Notre Dame is O-line U, so we've got tremendous opportunity for the running backs to help that passing game. But I expect the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to be in the college football playoffs come this year.
You mentioned the offensive line. Joe Alt could be the first tackle taken. His name, if it sounds familiar, his dad, John Alt, played in the NFL for a long time. You're absolutely right there. I want to ask you a question, Ryan, specifically to the fact that Sam Hartman's coming in. I love this kid. Forget what he projects at the NFL level, size-wise, arm strength. I don't care. I think he adds a dynamic that Notre Dame has been missing at the quarterback position for a while. But when you bring in a transfer who's a sixth-year guy like him, and you've got guys that potentially expected to be a starter or have competed for a couple of years, now all of a sudden fall on the depth chart, how does the transfer portal affect the continuity and the camaraderie of a team when you bring in someone who's a new guy but is going to be an immediate starter?
Well, it gets guys focused on the team, right? Because if you're not the best option for the team, then the team has to get the best option. So it already tests the willingness of the other players on the team. Now, I will say this, the coach that is most consistent in the transfer portal is going to win after all of this settles down. I mean, you have multiple coaches doing, getting players for 1 year or 3 years here or there, but you still have to develop through your recruiting. And yes, it's a different recruiting landscape now, but that's the job they chose as head coaches. And once this NIL and transfer portal settles down, the coaches that are more honest with their players are going to be the coaches that are hosting the most trophies.
Patrick,
Ryan Harris. Yeah, please go ahead, Amal.
I was just going to say, I love Hartman to the point where if Michigan, Ohio State, or Alabama had gotten him, I would make them the favorites to win the national championship.
No, I think you framed it perfectly. Who cares what his pro prospects are? He's a great, not a good, a great college quarterback. Now, let's talk, Ryan, about the head coach. Year 2 for Marcus Freeman. I'd love to get some insight. Started 0-2, but it kind of the mettle of a man corrected. 9 of 11 down the stretch, won that bowl game against South Carolina. Can you paint the picture on Marcus Freeman for a national audience a little bit? What's he like?
He's a great guy to be around, cares tremendously about his players on the team, had to change the schedule so that his players could go to practice after going to class this past spring. That's just one example. He loves to bowl, though I don't think he has the time to do it anymore. And players love him. Players love his honesty. Players love his clarity. He challenges them in the every single day in the weight room as well as on the field. And he's been through some battles with them. I mean, look, guys, losing to Ohio State last year to start the season when you were really toe-to-toe with them until the fourth quarter, that's a brutal loss. And then, of course, losing to Marshall, everyone was concerned, and including Coach Freeman. But this is a man who has held firm, who has been consistent, who has also made changes to improve through the last year. And that's the kind of leader and man that these young men want to learn from. And I really believe the sky's the limit for Coach Freeman.
Ryan, when you look at this team, tell me what you point to as the best strength from any unit offensively or defensively, and then the one weakness you see on one unit.
Yeah, the offensive line is going to be tremendously, strong. I mean, you have potentially 3 first-round picks on that offensive line, potentially a top 15 pick in a 6'7" left tackle. But then you look for the weakness. The weakness is going to be the defensive line. Look, Isaiah Foskey broke Justin Tuck's record for sacks at Notre Dame. I mean, Justin Tuck won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, as everyone knows. So there's going to be a tremendous drop-off looking for that pass rush. Look out for a guy named Jordan Botelho and some other players to make up for Isaiah Foskey's dominance. But that's going to be the weakness that Notre Dame has to show that they've built for and that they've recruited for come the starting of the season.
Ryan, September 23rd at home against Ohio State. You go October 14th at home against USC and November 4th at Clemson. I hate to minimize the schedule, but that's the 3 games right there. That's the season.
Absolutely. And what people forget, though, don't you want that if you're a college football player? Don't you choose that schedule to say, look, we go undefeated. There's no question we're number one. And that's what makes kids who go to Notre Dame different, right? A lot of the guys that go to Notre Dame could have went anywhere in the country, similar to myself. But at Notre Dame, you choose to go beyond. And this is a schedule that, frankly, no other school wants. I mean, there's some top teams in the SEC right now, we won't name names, hoping that they're not going to face a certain team in the SEC championship. But when you go to Notre Dame, you want some more, you want some more, you want some more. And these kids this year are going to get all the football they can handle, brother.
You mentioned it, Patrick. Asked you a great question in terms of the schedule. How do you think this team matches up right now? Because I think what hurts them a little bit this year is normally that marquee game against an Ohio State is a season opener or week 2. I thought they would have had a decided advantage if they were playing Ohio State at that time, as opposed to week 4 with the Buckeyes breaking in a new quarterback here.
Well, I mean, with games like this, it doesn't matter what happened before, right? I mean, these are the games that kids prepare for their entire season. They've been lifting. I know some players, from Notre Dame and Ohio State and at Michigan, they've got different things in their lockers to circle the date. But Notre Dame learned better than any other team last year that you better not take anyone for granted on your schedule. And that's going to be the difference for Notre Dame. I expect them to come in 4-0, getting ready to play Ohio State. And whether that record's going to scare Ohio State, who knows? But Ohio State's got their own issues, as you mentioned, with the new quarterback. And Notre Dame is louder than people believe. So you're getting a tried and true Notre Dame team that's fought through battles and stuck together and who's looking for the opportunity to show the world what they can do with the focus that they haven't had yet as an entire season for a team.
Okay, Ryan, last question. Notre Dame, we're discussing with the great Ryan Harris. Their regular season win total is set at 9. I wrote down in my notes to ask you, is this a fringe playoff contender? But you came out the gate and said, not only are they a fringe playoff contender, they're going to be in the Final Four this year. You believe that?
I really do. I mean, look, there are some tough games out there, no question. And no other team has the opportunity to beat Clemson, to beat USC, and to beat Ohio State. And when you do those things and put a Stanford on there, and North Carolina State, and Navy, I mean, that's a tremendous resume that few teams are going to have. The ones that do are likely to be playing a sub-tier opponent in the championship game of their conference, or their Power 5 conference. So it's going to be an interesting one for Notre Dame, but one that Notre Dame, I know from talking to players on the roster, they're looking forward to. I know from talking to Coach Freeman, he's looking forward to. And make no mistake, some of the best players in the history of football have gone and will continue to go to Notre Dame. And it's always going to be a litmus test. If you can beat Notre Dame, be great. And Notre Dame's going to have that opportunity a few times this year against top-ranked opponents.
Patrick, I was going to say, I'm not even a Notre Dame fan. I'm ready to sign with these guys in South Bend. This is a great recruiting pitch.
I was going to say a little South Bend flex on the way out. Touchdown Jesus got nothing on Ryan Harris. Westwood 1, of course, CBS Sports, Notre Dame analyst. Hey, great job, Ryan. It's great to talk to you, man. We'll talk to you during the season. Thank you very much.
Great to be here and great work, fellas. Peace.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.